Hey family, how you doing? Welcome to another broadcast. So glad that you guys can join us again for another broadcast. I hope you guys are having a wonderful week this week. And like I always tell you, if you're alive, you certainly are having a great one because you're alive. Okay, despite all the other problems, you are alive, and the problems, be grateful sometimes for these problems. I'm speaking to myself now because, it could be a lot worse. I literally tell myself that anytime something pops up, I'm saying, my first reaction is, well, it could be this. It could be something that's, a lot worse than this, and whatever. But we'll work it out. We'll figure it out, and that's why it's so good to have good people around you. When you are, just period. When you're going through stuff, and so very grateful for that. But anyway, so glad to have you guys here, and welcome to another live broadcast that we have here on Journeyman and Journeywoman. On this platform here, and so we're going to be talking about a couple of things. We're going to pick two topics. We're always just forever kind of like trying to figure out, okay, what's the most effective way to do this or the effective way to do that? And do we need to trim this out, or do we need to add this in, that kind of thing? So we're always thinking along those lines, and what things we can do and all of that stuff to improve it, to make it better and all of that. And so one of the things that have added is we're just having short times in the broadcast where we're allowing having people like yourself to call in. And so I'm gonna try to do that again. Today we're gonna try to do that again this week, and rather on this broadcast. So if you stick around towards the end of the broadcast, if you want to call in, you will have, and then we want to hear from some different people. All right. Definitely want to hear from some other wonderful people out there besides just, we're grateful for the ones that have called in. But if you've already called in, we want to give other people the opportunity to call in, and just so that we can hear from so many other people that are out there. And so if you have things like questions, things that were posted, maybe there's a comment or a statement or whatever. When I say statement, I ain't talking about no Al-Qaeda statement, okay? You just whipping out a whole thing there and you want to read the whole thing, 95 Theses or whatever. We ain't gonna do that. We're not doing that here, okay? No, we're not gonna do that. And I'll cut you off real quick. As long as you're being respectful, and you're open for adult dialogue, and the key word there is, or two key words is adult and dialogue. All right. And so, if you want to start, like I said, again, if you start going off into some weird land or whatever, we got ways of just, I know Sandman from, at Apollo, and we'll just ring you back in real quick. We don't have any, we'll handle that very quickly. But anyway, let me give a shout out to the people, great people that's in the chat here. As always, Davion, we got Willie, who's always seemed like you're the first or second person that always shows up here. Really appreciate you, bro. We have Naama, Israel. Oh my, that's a long one. Anyway, we're good to see you. We got Psalms 31:24. We got Sika. We have Rebecca in the house. We got Wanea. We got Team Truth. And we have, let's see, Khalil. Hope I'm saying your name right, bro. And then we have Avis. And then I'm sure there's other people that will be coming in soon. So for all of you, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. And what we do here is let's talk about some of the highlights of the week. And, maybe we'll pick a couple of news items, or maybe just things that we should be talking about. And so that's what we kind of do here. And so anyway, so good to see everybody here. All right. So tonight, the main topics we're going to talk about, and like I said, again, if you're just joining us here, tonight, later on, we're going to have an opportunity for you to call in. So if you want to call in, the number will be placed on the screen, and you will have that opportunity to call in. And especially for people, you don't have to agree with everything that I say. It's not about trying to build up a 100% agreement on everything. It's not about that. It's never been about that at all. I mean, if you have a disagreement or something, you're more than welcome to chime in, but, just understand and also know that if someone like myself, if I have questions about what you're stating, don't get offended. Just like I can't get offended when someone asks me questions. Why should I? Same thing with you. Don't get offended if I'm testing you a little bit. You understand what I'm saying? And as long as we keep it respectful, it's fine. So yeah, so we'll have a time. We're going to try to set up a time for that later on. So tonight we're going to talk about black culture on the auction block. Yeah. And you'll be surprised at this go around who are the auctioneers, or maybe you won't be surprised, because I think it's time for us to call out this thing. And, these people who are out here who are making a killing off of putting black culture or aspects of black culture on the auction block, and taking different pieces of our culture, in some cases just completely reimagining it, or just taking slices of it and then monetizing it. Okay. I gave an example, and we're going to read the post that I posted up earlier today. I gave an example of that earlier on the community page. And then later on, we're going to touch on that, but I have another example as well that I'm going to talk about. And this is just, I think the thing that really gets me, and this is something I was trying to express in the post itself, is, I'm just really amazed at how many of our people fall for this stuff all the time. I'm very grateful for some of these platforms that are out here who are calling out these scam artists and, other individuals out here that are just draining our people of their time, brain power, financial resources. And, I'm just tired of it. I don't know about you, but I'm definitely one of those that's tired of it. And so I'm grateful for some of these other platforms out here that do call that stuff out for what it is. And yeah, we'll be getting more into that tonight. And then the second thing we're going to talk about is we're going to revisit reparations, because I think what's happening, especially in light of what's going on with this whole thing with Israel, the state of Israel, and how the United States is responding to this whole thing that's happening between Israel and the Palestinian people. I think we can learn a thing or two from this whole thing, particularly those who are passionately pushing for the reparations case. And again, as I've said on this platform many times, I am 110% in belief. I do believe, yes, that a debt is owed. So you never, ever, ever have to try to make that argument on this platform that somehow I'm against reparations. I'm not. However, for me, it's not about just getting a check. You have to look at it from multiple angles. Who's giving it to you? Is it truly free money? Can our people, or whether should I say it like this, at this juncture in time, do our people have a demonstrated ability to manage a sudden large influx of money like that? Because what people don't understand is they think that money changes someone's character. No, it actually magnifies the character that someone already has. So the person that you were when you were broke, you're going to be that same person, if not more dangerous, when you get a lot of money, if your character is bad. I mean, if you have good character, then typically what happens is that gets magnified as well, but it's just little conversations like this that somehow every time when they do come up, people seem to not have the time to have that, or they lose patience, or they want you to talk about something else But I'm very serious about these topics, and I want to see our people win. But at the same time, it's got to be, we really have to think these things out. And because if we don't think these things out, then we're just going to be out of the frying pan and into the fire, and then if not worse. So we're going to take a look at this whole Israel Gaza thing, because there's something in that we can learn from as it relates to the reparations movement. Let's see. For some time I've been doing, a while back, we were doing teachings over on mybondtube.com. Okay, mybondtube.com. That is our that is our online, that is our video platform that we have. Again, we're not just here on YouTube. We are also on mybondtube.com. We're also on Rumble. We're on Odyssey. We're on BitChute. We're on those other ones as well. I haven't really been on those, to be honest with you, in a moment, but I have it set up to where, when things, where, stuff happens, I have my stuff backed up. You know what I'm saying? I have my stuff backed up there. So this is Samba Tree. Wow. This is mybondtube.com. And this is where you'll find all kinds of things, from teachings to documentaries to just very good information. A lot of it, there's much on here that would not be allowed on this plantation, the YouTube plantation. But, a lot of this information is too important for us just to pass over and just to ignore altogether. So we're going to make sure that we have it for our people right here on mybondtube.com. And you could check this out at any given time. Well, anyway, the reason why I brought this up is because for a while, every Saturday, we were doing teachings. We were, going, depending how far back you want to go, we were doing Bible teachings. We were doing that, Bible/historical teachings. Then all of a sudden we start, we never stop asking questions. We never stop digging. And I know I got some of y'all on here that have been with us for a very long time, and you just seen like the transformation of all of that and how that has changed, And so that turned into us really, really beginning to put our investigation hats on and really start questioning and looking closely at the contents of the Bible itself. And we were doing that for a very long time. And out of that came out a number of series that you can watch right there on mybondtube.com. Of course, the big one is Who in the L Are You Following? I guess that's what I forgot what I called it. A closer look at the Torah. That's another one. We looked at circumcision. That's a whole nother one. There's plenty of them where we really looked at the who are the people who wrote this thing we call the Bible. And so, yeah, we spent a lot of time on that out of that. And then, with this move that now we're on the other side, I just had to take a break because, we were just getting ready for that. And then we had some other things going on as well. So we took a long break. But eventually I am going to get back into doing that. It may not be every week. It may probably be every other week. Who knows? We'll just play it by ear. But I do know I have something coming up. And what we're going to be talking about, we're going to really sit down and we're going to look at this topic regarding the Holy Spirit. Where did that come from? All right. We're going to talk about that. All right. We're going to look at it. Again, we cannot infer our own opinions and thoughts on it. Where did what this thing we call the Holy Spirit, what is the actual history of that? Where did that come from? And we're going to look at that. Okay. You're looking at an individual that for years I taught that, the Holy Spirit and the infilling of the Spirit, speaking in tongues. I've taught, these are things I taught and I've embraced and all of that. But we're going to look at the history of this because, again, these things didn't just come out of thin air. There's a history behind all of these things. And the Holy Spirit is yet another page in that chapter. So that one is coming up really, really soon. And you don't want to miss it. I'll let you know. I'll try to give you the heads up on that on the community page. And that one, I believe we will do that over on mybondtube.com. Okay, we'll do it over there. If you want to check it out, you can just go over there and check it out at that time. Okay. All right. So just wanted to let you know about that. We have some wonderful things over on on sombertree.com. I'll just show the page. I'll just flash that on the screen real quick. But we're gonna when we take our break, taking the advice of someone that follows us from last week. She said, during your breaks, you should just show, Somber Tree. You should do it there instead of looking at your. No, I ain't gonna say that. I don't want to mess her up because she felt like she had to explain. I was like, sis, I got you. I'm just messing with you. Yeah. So Somber Tree is basically our online store where we have a whole lot of things, a whole lot of natural things on there. And like I said, again, I'm not gonna get into it now. When we do take our break, we will get into it at that time. I mean, we have. We're very big on looking to nature to find the solutions for our health stuff. My personal goal, period, is to get as many Black folks, our people, out of the hospitals and out of the medical care system as possible. That is my personal goal in life, is to evacuate our people from the former medical system. There are some good things in it, that we've learned from. There's some things in it that have been helpful. But ultimately, what we believe on this platform is that our Creator put everything that we need to have perfect health right in creation itself. And we're very committed to that. And we also have a proven track record showing that things such as people who have dealt with high blood pressure or diabetes have seen a drastic difference to maybe a slight difference, but an improvement in their health, simply because they are focusing more on taking control of their own health by means of just accessing what is in nature itself. And one of the things we tell people all the time is, listen, of course we would love for you to buy from us. What business wouldn't want you to buy from us? But ultimately, if you can find some of the things that we sell or even talk about somewhere cheaper, or maybe it's more convenient for you to buy it somewhere near your house, then we say mission accomplished, because that is the goal, is to get our people to stop, to wean ourselves off of this demonic medical system and to start taking control of our own health care. And that is something that can easily be done. I don't know about you, but I'm very tired of every 4 years seeing our people screaming and hollering and crying because, the government ain't giving us the right amount of medical care. They're taking this amount out and they taking this out and they doing this and that. Aren't you tired when you go into, particularly, not that all Black people live in the inner city, but when you do go into the inner city, a lot of times you notice, and I brought this point out before, if you notice, a lot of the teaching hospitals tend to be in areas where there's a lot of us. There's a reason for that, because even in 2023, we are still the ones that they like to experiment on. So they'll put teaching hospitals such as Temple University or UCLA, they'll put their teaching hospitals where there's a high percentage of people that look like you and me. And they used it because we're expendable to them. To this very day, the medical system still sees that. Now, they will try to trick you and try to make you think, hey, listen, we have some Black doctors now. We got Black doctors. We got some Black nurses now. So it's not about that anymore. But these Black doctors and nurses are being trained by the very people that enslaved you. And, it's a shame that we have lost sight of that, but it's still very true that it hasn't changed. And there's videos that we've done many, many times where we talked about a whole lot of different cases, even as up to recently, where we as a people have been targeted by their experimentations. And so, and we try to do everything we can, even at the point of them cutting us off. I'm talking about here on YouTube, demonetizing us, whatever they got to do. But we are committed to the truth and telling our people the truth on this, and also giving you the resources where you can build your own solutions. That's what we're committed to on this platform. So again, just continue to stay tuned, and because we use Sombertree also, it's not just a store, but also as a way to teach folks, just basics, educational resource as well. My wife, she was working with someone just recently, just giving some basic tips on some things, and it's just amazing to see. It's just an excitement you get when you see things are starting to gel and people are starting to get it, and they're seeing the improvement even in their own lives. We are not licensed. Okay. We're not licensed, nor do we market ourselves as such, but you don't have to be licensed to know just some of the basics or be familiar with different plants and what they do and what they don't do and all of that. You don't necessarily need to be, you just need to be knowledgeable. And we will always tell you when we don't know something, we can point you to people who do have the licensing and all of that, and they'll be more than happy to assist as well. So it's just a network, of people that you work with where we can wean ourselves off of this demonic system. And that's what we do. That's part of what we do over on sombertree.com. And like I said, when we take our break, we have a new product that we're bringing one back. I should say that we're bringing back, and I'll tell you about that at the break. Okay. All right. So again, good to see everybody in the chat. So glad to see everybody here. Let's go ahead and get into it. What we're going to talk about here: Black culture on the auction block. All right. So I did a post earlier today, and I will go ahead and go through it real quick. And this is like, it just really gets very frustrating to me to see how many of our people still fall for these different things. And I don't know, it just takes me a moment to kind of put my words together on this, because I'm just so tired of it. And it's like there's numbers of our people who enjoy wearing the kick me sign. I do not get it. I don't get it. And no matter how much you try to warn people, sometimes it's like it just goes in one ear and goes out the other. And I have to ask myself, tying this to the whole reparations thing. I mean, if we can do this to ourselves, what do you think is going to happen? Let's say if the government said, I'm going to give all of y'all a check for $1 million or $5 million or whatever it may be. It's a scary thought to me. It's a scary thought. But anyway, let me pull this up here on the screen for you. And then we're going to read this. Give me just a moment here. All right, here we go. All right, so this is what I posted earlier today, and I'll be taking some breaks because this is just one example, but I'll give you another one. Now, many of you have heard about the whole Lake Lanier thing. And again, my timeline just be showing me all kinds of stuff. I don't even be subscribed to folks, and it still be telling me, okay, they posted this and that or whatever. And I'm like, I don't want to see it. Stop recommending this channel, and somehow still be coming up, but whatever. So anyway, this is how it all began. This is what I wrote. I said, the number one scammer and perverter of Black history is Black folks. Read on before getting into your emotions. I said, in the latest ghost story being pushed as a fact, we have the mystery deaths surrounding Georgia's Lake Lanier. Now, many of you have seen this whole thing going around where people are like, ooh, Lake Lanier. Oh, I don't know why these white people keep swimming up in Lake Lanier, because, ooh, the ghost of Negro past keeps snatching these people down. And these people better learn, shoot. I'm telling you, these ancestors, they not happy. Or what happened to them. Ooh, scary. All right, let's continue to read. I know some of y'all, I can feel the itching in your emotions right now, but just keep listening. This is also yet another sad tale that shows how numbers of our people in 2023 still choose not to read or to get all the details. What is true is that the location of this lake used to be that of a black town that was flooded by whites in the area many years ago. And I said, please read the entire account here. Well, won't we just do that now, okay, so that we can get more of the story here? How about we do that? All right. All right. So this is coming out straight out of Georgia. All right. Georgia source. We'll just read it as much as we can here, but you'll get this. You'll get it. You'll get it. Now, this is the whole story. All right. The community, okay, it says relative of Oscarville, that's the name of the town, resident shares history behind the city underneath Lake Lanier. This is in Gainesville. They said Lake Lanier is a Georgia landmark, but before it became part of the state's landscape, there was the town of Oscarville. It was formed in the late 1800s during the Reconstruction era. Georgia history teacher Lisa Crosby said Oscarville was a thriving black community full of carpenters, blacksmiths, and bricklayers with farming as the top trade. They had a miraculous farming growth here while the rest of the state was really struggling, she said. That was the case until 1912 when May Crow, a 19-year-old white woman, was found dead in the woods near Oscarville, presumably after being raped. Typically, the answer to white girls being raped was to go to black communities and start blaming people, Crosby said. Ain't that the case? They said when nightfall came, terror began to reign over Oscarville. Crosby said moms came together, called night riders, and they drove the black community out. All right, pay attention to what's being said here. Filmmaker Bob Mackey, who is capturing those horrendous nights in an upcoming television series, said the night turned deadly. They were wakened up, by fires outside, fire bombs thrown in the church, he said. The church was a centerfold of the community, so anytime something happened, guess where everyone would go? To the church, he said. Well, they attacked the church where everyone was resting for a sense of protection. After the destruction in the late 1950s, the Beaufort Dam was built and Lake Lanier was formed, covering up Oscarville and swallowing most of its history. Many people died during the attack trying to get to Gainesville. So these people were actually leaving the city. They weren't just sitting up there. And all of a sudden a wall of water just came out of nowhere. That's not what happened. George Rucker, a direct descendant who has traced his lineage 4 generations back to Oscarville, told the story of his great-grandfather, Bird Oliver, and how their entire family was forced off of the land. So this was like it was an ongoing thing that was happening over a course of time. But there was that one night where, they firebombed and all of that, but they just kept on doing it. So this wasn't like one night black folks were sitting down, they were in their town of Oscarville going about their business, what any town would go through, how any town would function or whatever. And then all of a sudden they looked up in the middle of the night, there was a wall of water that came. And then there you got the next thing you know, then they called it Lake Lanier. That's not how that went down. It did not happen like that. It's something that took place over a course of time. All right. All of these things are extremely important. It doesn't lessen the crime that was committed. I want to be very clear with that. We just want to make sure that if we're going to tell the story, we're going to tell it accurately. All right. All right. When the night riders came through, they had to leave everything, he said. The main thing they left was property, and my grandfather had 100 acres. Rucker said his family headed to Chattahoochee River with an angry mob behind them. He said when the mob got to the bridge where they were, they had 2 options. They either had to swim or drown. Most of them didn't make it, he said. My grandfather is one of them that did make it. He lost some brothers and sisters. He said his mother would tell him whenever Oliver recalled the nights, he just sat and cried. His relatives who survived settled in Gainesville. Rucker said his great-grandfather married his second wife, Beulah, and they built Beulah Rucker House School, which still stands in Gainesville. It's good they have all these little images and stuff too. I'm glad they have all of that. All right, they said Crosby said whites in the area took over the remaining properties. Oscarville farmers were specifically skilled in raising poultry, Crosby said, which set the pace for Gainesville, eventually becoming the poultry capital of the world. Wow, that's pretty significant. Other movie makers are also sharing the story of Oscarville. Okay, they're going and they're just talking more about the movies and stuff they're going to make off of this. Okay. Let's see if there's anything else in here. All right, now I'll just continue to read. They said, as for Lake Lanier now, many people believe it's haunted because of the high number of drownings that occur there. Officials said that there is an entire town that includes structures and even forest areas with trees that are 60 feet tall. It makes it more challenging to navigate through the lake. They said someone can quickly become trapped in debris, causing them to drown. Like, I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't be, I don't care if it was a black town, white town, it don't matter. I wouldn't be, if I was swimming in a lake or a body of water and they told me it was a town under there, it's just something very creepy about that period that I just want to have nothing to do with that. I'm sorry. It just, that says, that to me, it just says all kinds of, that sounds like a whole scary movie setup for me. I ain't doing that. But we do have to stick to the facts, okay? And I'm gonna tell you why. All right. Okay, so let's go back to this post here. Because see, there's some people that'll listen to me and think that I'm somewhat lessening the crime here. I'm not at all. What we're going to point out is how there's certain people out here that are purposely getting mischaracterized or, not getting the facts straight so that they can make a profit. Now that makes me angry when people do that, So anyway, let's continue. All right. So I said, what you will notice is that black folks were not even living in the town when it was flooded. In other words, they chased these people out, according to what we just read here. The residents of this town were chased out. Any related drownings that took place in Gainesville at the Chattahoochee River, not at the lake, at the river, where some were forced to jump while escaping. This is all in the account that we just read. But that's not what the narrative. That's not the narrative that's being pushed. We can all agree that what happened to towns like this one will forever be a dark stain on this land. These stories are bad enough just with the facts alone. So why embellish them? The narrative being pushed is that the souls of these black folks are somewhere in the lake, pulling down random white people who dare enter the lake. So why does the narrative leave out the black people who have also drowned at this lake over the years? Are the ancestors pissed off at them as well? And I've talked about this. All you gotta do is just do a search. These are at least 4 cases that all someone has to do is use Google of black individuals. And, 2 of these individuals, I know the first and the fourth one, they were athletes, I believe, like high school athletes or whatever. But he was a young man, and same thing with number 3. Number 2, well, Usher and his former wife, they had a son who drowned in this lake. Now, all of these individuals are black individuals. So my question to you tonight is, why then, regardless why then are these things, regardless if it's a YouTuber, social media person or whatever, why is it that the people who are pushing this story, why is it that they leave these individuals out of their narrative? Why is it? Instead, they want you to focus only on the white folks that have died, as if the ancestors are just pulling down white people. But that's not true. The truth is, you got black folks, white folks. There's some Hispanic folks I found. It's people all across the rainbow, if you will, that died, especially during holidays. When we were living in Georgia, it was very common, especially during the holidays, the warmer months. You always heard about someone drowning up in those lakes because First of all, in Lake Lanier, they have so many boats and watercraft that's all crowded on these lakes. So it you always gonna have someone dying or drowning or almost drowning. It happens literally every year. But it's not just white people, it's also black folks. So again, my question to you, and I'm asking you as the viewer directly, why is it that the souls of these people are left out of the narrative? Why is that? Because the people who are pushing these unfortunate stories have their own agendas, and that's what we're going to talk about. All right. So let me scroll down here. Let me scroll up here. All right. I said individuals like Tariq Nasheed, and many of you know who he is, saw this Lake Lanier trend popping up on social media because it had been going on for some time, and monetized it. In a series of videos, he made a connection to the white deaths taking place at Lake Lanier and FBA root work. Yeah, that's what he calls it. Foundational Black American root work, because this is their way of delineating themselves from Africa, as if root work was only something that was based here. No, it comes from Africa. Now, we may have put our own spin on it, but the basis of it comes from Africa. But, you know, these clowns out here, they don't want to have anything to do with Africa at all. And it's just I don't get it. I do get it, but I don't get it. But yeah, he's trying to categorize. He's saying this is root work. He's trying to make this connection to root work. Let me explain what I mean by that. So he then created a line of deodorants and body care products and called it root work. I kid you not. You can look this up yourself. I ain't putting no link on there and I ain't showing on the screen. You can do a Google search right now if you want, and you can find it on yourself. So he called it root work. And why is he connecting it to that? What he's saying is that I was listening to a broadcast he did a while back, and when he was introducing this whole line, because he even had a little short book that he came out with, it's like $10, explaining FBA root work and all of this stuff, right? And so he's going through all this, and he was talking about, because water is spirit. He knows some of the slang, if you will, that a lot of people who are into spirituality like that, he knows enough to sell his stuff. He said, see, because water is spirit. And see, what our ancestors used to do is, they would use the water, the spirit that's in water, to cast spells and all of this stuff. And see, family, we got that power too, to do that kind of stuff, right? So what he has been pushing is that, hey, listen, we need to reconnect to that, because what's happening in Lake Lanier is the result of the spiritual power our people had. This is what he's selling. This is what he's putting out here. So what he did is that he took, like, I don't know, maybe there's a root work book out there. I'm sure there is. Like, if you're into hoodoo, voodoo, if you've ever looked into that, I mean, like these different spells, if you ever looked into that, they got whole recipe books of all kinds of things. So apparently he must have got his hand on one of them and grabbed some of the ingredients and put it in a deodorant line. Jesus. Anyway, and he's selling it, and he's calling it root work. Now, if you thought that was bad enough, he actually is trademarking the word root work. Yes. Did you know that? I didn't know that till today. I got it right here. Tariq Nasheed, trademark application details, root work. How do you trademark a word like root work? I mean, I'm trying to understand that. And let's go through it, because y'all think, okay, this was done July the 11th, 2023. Jeez. It says root work is a trademark registration is intended to cover the categories of fragrances, body deodorants, deodorants for body care, hair cleansing, cleaning preparations, hair creams, hair shampoo, personal deodorants, skin soap, etc. Right? And it's called root work. He's the principal. He's got an attorney assigned to it. Primary class cosmetics and cleaning preparations, bleaching preparations, and other substances for laundry use, cleaning, polishing, scouring, abrasive, so forth and so on, perfumery, all of that stuff. Attorney name. Now check this out. He's got a Chinese attorney that he's working with. Family, you cannot make this up. You cannot make this up. He literally has a Chinese person, according to this, that he's working with. To trademark the word root work. Now, what I'm saying is this: root work, when you think of the word root work, when you think of that, it's usually associated, I'm going to say, African-based spirituality. I'll just say that because that's usually going to fall in the lines of, hoodoo or voodoo. It's going to fall in the lines of that anytime you hear of like things like root work. It's in that family, okay? Root work is just using herbs and things like that to basically cast spells and all that kind of stuff, right? But it's African based, that's where it comes from. But it's part of our culture. Now, it's a part of our culture that, quite honestly, I don't encourage, I don't necessarily promote here, but it is part of our culture. So I have as much respect for that as I do, let's say, for example, if I wanted to trademark the word ring shout. Okay, now y'all know what ring shout is, right? Ring shout was basically when we've done videos on this, is when, if you've ever seen like old footage of our people, like back in the day, they used to do this on plantations where our people would do like a semicircle, like they'll have a tambourine or something, they'll be singing, and they just, as they're singing, they're going in a counterclockwise movement, right? Well, that was based on the Congo cosmogram. That's what it was based off of. And like I said, we did a whole video on this explaining that and what that meant and all of that stuff. And it's really deep stuff. But that's like me coming along and say, Nicole and I on Sombertree, we're going to come out with a line of wedding rings. We're going to call them ring shouts. The ring shout collection. Can you imagine us doing something like that? I would hope that one of y'all would come, get on a plane or whatever, or drive or whatever, and slap me if I ever did something like that. But what this dude is doing is that he's literally taking a slice of our culture and he's monetizing it. I just showed you. He's trademarking the word root work and he's tying it to deodorants and bleaches. See, the thing that really gets me about this too is I've said this for years. I used to say this and I'll continue to say this, is that as a people, I'm talking about black folks, it's almost as if we hold white people at a much higher standard than we hold ourselves. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Case in point. Do you guys remember that story a while back where it was some company, it was a white-owned company, they came out with some ice cream, I think it was for Walmart or something like that, and they called it the Juneteenth flavor or something like that. Remember that? And not only did they come out with the ice cream, the flavor of the ice cream called Juneteenth, not only did they do that, but they also were trying to get the word Juneteenth trademarked. Someone did some digging. It was like, oh, no. You can't do that at our culture. You can't do that. Well, they got called out on that, and rightfully so. And guess what? They pulled the plug on all of it. And we got an apology out of it. Now, this is a white company that was doing this, right? So, of course, we showed up, ready for battle and ready for war on that. But here you have a black person that's doing the same thing with a part of our culture and trademarking it and taking something like root work, which is a very serious topic, and you're monetizing it so that you can make money. You're connecting root work to deodorants and sprays. And the fact that you don't have anybody out here, I'm talking about people who have a platform, that's not even calling this out, it's disgusting. That's really the only thing I can come up with, because it shows the type of, watch it, Dwayne, the type of crap that we tolerate. And unfortunately, we tolerate more from ourselves than we do from other people. And that's sad. Really something. Anyway, let me get back to this post here. Almost finished. Do I have it? Oh, I don't have it on the screen. Sorry. Let me get this up here. Yeah, the Ring Shout collection. I had shirts and everything else, and I got that monetized, got my name all up on it too. Don't you dare. Because see, what that positions him to do now is, let's say, for example, if someone was to write a book or something, and they went to write a book that was talking about the historicity of root work in the black community or something like that. And let's say if he, had a disagreement with that author on something, well, loosely, he could make a case that, hey, listen, if you're going to do a book on this, you cannot call it root work because I have the trademark on it. Now, I don't know if that trademark went through, but it's at least showing us that, he is pushing it, and he's using a Chinese attorney to help push this thing. He's not even using, not that if he used a black person, that will make a difference. He ain't even using that. He went to a Chinese person. Now, what's his name? Taraka Bay. I hope I'm saying the brother's name right. But he has a channel on here. Man, he stays on that neck. He stays on Tariq's neck on when it comes to this. When I tell you, he's been following him with this whole thing with the museum. Tariq raised over $1 million for this museum. And from what I understand, the latest video he put out, they don't have the licensing to occupy it because he took the money and he's spending it on other stuff. And he has this thing where he'll do a movie, he'll do a documentary. It's done, but he'll hold it hostage and tell his people, listen, if you want to see this movie, you got to raise up $100 and something thousand or whatever like that. And black folks will be standing in line to pay to donate for this movie, right? And then when he releases it, he says, well, if you want to see this movie, you're going to have to pay for it. So on top of having people donate to the movie, the same people you got donating to the movie or to the documentary, you're turning back around again and telling them that if you want to see the documentary, you got to pay for it again. See, we can't even get into any conversations right now when it talks about how, white people, the palm colored people or the ice people or whatever you want to call them, we talk about the ish people or some of these other people. We can't even get into a conversation and talking about how crafty these people are until we develop a backbone and begin to start calling this stuff out amongst our own people. And quite honestly, I don't think we have it yet. We don't. Because I see the amount of people out here that are still they just fall right into that. It's really sad. But anyway, I said, as someone who takes pride in our culture and works hard to preserve what is left, it angers me to see how many of our people will literally buy into the lies rather than researching for themselves the actual truth. And this is the part I want you to pay attention to. If the revengeful black ancestors narrative was true, then why are these ancestors inactive in places like Philadelphia, New York, where they are still finding the graves of thousands of African slaves, where everything from banks, playgrounds, and parks have been built on top of them? So if you're going to make the case that, oh, the ancestors are angry, they just snatching random white people in this lake. Okay, then what are the ancestors that are buried in these other places? Why are they not doing anything if that's the case? Oh, I get it. They didn't buy the root work collection. That's what that is. They didn't get the right deodorant. That's what that is. Okay, I'm getting it now as I'm reading this. Just recently, there's a story that I just came across in South Philadelphia. In South Philadelphia, I just read this, I believe today. They just discovered, or recently they discovered, a grave of over 3,000 bodies of former African slaves. This is in South Philly area. And I think it's November the 4th. They're going to have some big thing there where you can go, and I don't know, some historians there. Now, if you've been following this platform, you know we also went to what's called Washington Square. Today it's called Washington Square. It's literally a 2-3 minute walk from Independence Hall. And what is called Washington Square today wasn't always called Washington Square. It's actually was called, someone's ringing the doorbell. It's actually called, it used to be called Congo Square. That's right. It used to be called Congo Square. So yes, many of you are aware that there's a Congo Square in, many of you are aware there's a Congo Square down in New Orleans, Louisiana. But there's also was a Congo Square in Philadelphia, but they renamed it to Washington Square, Washington Park. It's right in Center City. And like I said, you can watch the videos right here on our channel, on our platform. So if this whole thing about the angry ancestors or whatever, if that's true, then why is it that they didn't stop? Because right in that area where the Congo Square in Philadelphia is, there used to be a whole row of insurance companies. Many of those insurance companies used to insure the slave ships that will come over to America. Many of them are not really there now. There's some that are there now, but yeah, they had insurance companies right there. And literally right in their front and backyard is an open grave of many of our ancestors that were buried there. So if this whole Lake Lanier thing is true, then why is it that it ain't worked there? These people still able to come in and make millions and millions and billions of dollars. It didn't work there. All right. Or what about the souls of the thousands and thousands of African slaves who are apparently still lingering throughout the soil of the southeastern part of the United States? Let me guess. They couldn't stop Jim Crow without the aid of the Civil Rights Bill. They are powerless against the black human trafficking trade that has been happening in places like Atlanta. Or they were okay with Freaknik. Let's not forget that. So your ancestors are walking around like ghosts, like in the Scooby-Doo episode, snatching random white people down. This is what the narrative says. But I've just been able to show you different cases where it's got to be consistent. You can't just pick one little thing and make a whole case out of it. It's got to be consistent, because if it's happening, if that is the case, then we will be seeing this all over the country. And you and I both know that ain't the case at all, is it? But see, it's one thing when people sit back and imagine these things. Like if you got your 70 plus 80-year-old grandmother, grandfather, your uncle or auntie or whatever, and they tell you these little stories like this, you just let them talk and be like, whatever. But it's another thing when you have people who aren't as old like that, and they push this stuff out as if it's truth. And what they're doing is that at the same time, they're sucking up resources and monies and your time and all of that stuff. They're taking all that stuff from you, and you sitting up there like, yeah, that's right. I believe it. That's right. That's true. That's when it should become problematic. And I said, we have far too many people who look like us who are totally invested in reimagining our history for profit and notoriety, and far too few people asking any questions. Whatever afterlife our ancestors entered into, I seriously doubt they have nothing better to do than to play haunted house in your imagination. And this is exactly, ladies and gentlemen, what has been happening, is that we have taken, the thing that it really gets me is that we are okay with people coming in and taking strips of our history, of our culture, and monetizing it for some whatever nefarious reasons or whatever. And we don't hold them to any standard. But again, if Tariq Nasheed was Alex Jones, for example, a white person, we would be all up on top of that. But see, if we can't hold the standard to ourselves, then how the heck do you expect anybody else outside of the community, so to speak, to have any respect for you? Especially when it comes to history, you know, on this platform, you know, when it comes to history, I mean, we take that extremely, 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 extremely serious, extremely serious. And we're going to ask a whole lot of questions, because our history has been butchered and robbed and altered so many times just by the dominant society, so to speak. The last thing we need are people that look like us that are doing the same thing. We got to be even harder on people like that. I'll give you one more example. Okay, so we talked about that. Here's another example. Now, you guys, you know, remember last year, you know, with the Kyrie Irving situation, he posted, you know, a link to the documentary Hebrews the Negroes, right? And when that happened, of course, it was a huge firestorm. You know, y'all remember all of that when it happened, right? All of this stuff. I mean, people just losing their minds over it. But it also generated a ton of sales, because you had the curious, you had people who, you know, that were curious. They wanted to know about it, more about it. How much in sales, I couldn't tell you, because I'm not privy to all of that. And quite honestly, I could care less. But we do know that it did attract a whole lot of attention, and it also generated a lot of sales. It just did. You know what I'm saying? Just based off of that, because you had news reporters, you had all kinds of people that were buying it, you know, so that they can get access and they can know what the heck they were talking about, even though they took the story and just twisted it all up to their own narratives. And so that's what happened. So anyway, so that should have been plenty, I would think, that was generated there. So if the author wanted to do anything in addition to that, like a part 3 or part 4, whatever, I would kind of think that the resources were there to do it. I would kind of think that. Well, apparently, maybe that's not the case, because I saw this recently, and this is on Twitter. I'm going to show you the video that the author posted for the next installment of this documentary. We're going to watch it first, and we're going to talk about it. All right. So let me go ahead and pull this up here, because apparently he is having a premiere coming up, I think, next month. So let's go ahead and get this up. Got it up on the screen. And let's play this video as soon as I can get it together here. All right, here we go.
H2N presents the Great Tribulation Conference. Come join us for this 2-day conference
on the 17th and 18th November 2023. There's limited seating, so act fast.
For only $100 for the 2-day conference and $50 for a movie ticket to watch the movie Hebrews to Negroes Part 3, Sound the Alarm. It's all happening at the Venetian Center, 9724 Cross Creek Boulevard, Tampa Bay, Florida. The time has finally come for all black people to know the truth. Without knowledge, we perish. Sound the alarm. Africans, wake up. Wake up.
Purchase tickets at www.thenegronetwork.com.
All right, let me go back here. So this is a
The time
conference.
has finally come for two-day conference and $50 for a movie ticket to watch.
November 2023. There's limited seating, so act fast.
For only $100 for the two-day conference and $50 for a movie ticket to watch the movie Hebrews to Negroes Part 3, Sound the Alarm. It's all happening at the Venetian Center, 9724 Cross Creek Boulevard, Tampa Bay, Florida. The time has finally come for all black people to know the truth. Without knowledge, we perish. Sound the alarm. Africans, wake up. Wake up.
Purchase tickets at www.thenegronetwork.com.
Okay, so we're gonna stop there because it's more, the rest of the video. He's, they're talking more about, pumping up the movie and all that. Listen, brother want to make documentaries. I ain't got no issue with anybody making documentaries. I don't have any issue with that. I mean, if that's what you want to do, that's your thing. That's your thing. I don't see any problem with that at all. Even if I don't necessarily agree with the content, that's your thing. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, if you're selling something, that's fine. We sell stuff. So I don't care. You know what I mean? That's not the issue here. But I think the problem that I do have when it comes to this is that if you notice in the document, in the ad right there, you're saying that, listen, and I'm paraphrasing, it was saying there's this information on here. Without this knowledge, people will perish. So you're telling people, if you don't get this knowledge, you're going to die. Oh, and so if this is true, it's about time for black people to learn the truth. Okay. So if this is truth that is that valuable, where that's priceless. If you're talking about, I got some information right here that I'm gonna give you, and if you read it, it will absolutely save your life. My question to you is, can you really put a price tag on something like that? Or why would you? Well, apparently he can. So it's $100 to get the information, just to get in. But then it's $50 if you want to watch the movie. So I'm asking myself, I don't know of any movie if I've ever seen in my entire life where the ticket was $50. If someone came up to me and they said the movie is $50, I wouldn't be seeing the movie. And my family will tell you, I ain't attached to any of these movies out here. There ain't that one movie out here that I'm that attached to, and I'm saying I gotta see it. Here's my wallet, honey. Just take it. It ain't worth that much to me. Now again, here's my thing. Again, this is what I'm saying. If this brother wants to charge whatever, then do it. Then you do that. You do that thing. But the problem that I guess I have with this is the fact that when you're marketing it as this is information, it's like a life or death thing. In other words, if you don't get this information, then basically you're going to die. But and you're like, oh my God, I got to get it. Brother, can you give it to me? I'm not going to give it to you. It's $50. Well, actually $100, $150, because you got to get $100 to get in. And then you got to give me another $50 in order to get this life-changing info, this intel that, quite honestly, many of us can get for free if we get off our lazy behinds and just spend some time in looking this stuff up for ourselves. Again, I am completely putting aside the fact that, hey, listen, I don't agree. You know, the Hebrew narrative, I have a lot of questions with that. There's things I don't agree with, things I used to agree with, I don't agree with now. I'm putting all of that aside. And I'm simply saying, if you're going to market something like that, I would put that no different than a lot of this other stuff that's out here where you're promising people the world, but you're really not getting anything, you know, quite honestly. This is, I mean, and again, I know for some people, you know, who are the fanboys, the fangirls, they're going to be all up on it. You know, "Well, you can't say that, you know, about him. Hey, well, watch out. Why you talking? Why you dissing him and all that?" No, I don't like that. I don't, because I'm tired of seeing our people getting jacked. I'm tired of seeing our people getting, you know, I'm not saying this is a scam. I'm not saying that, but it's in the neighborhood. I'm tired of seeing that. And doggone it, I want to see our people wake up. I want to see our people wake up. You want an awakening? So how about start telling the truth? And see, another thing, what he's putting out here, because you know, he's constantly on this thing. Well, you know, we call them the Acme company people, but y'all know what I'm talking about. They after me. You know, they're creating laws trying to shut me down, because I think he's in South Africa or whatever. I don't know where he is now. They're creating laws to shut me down. And, you know, the truth in this thing is so powerful. They're afraid of it. They won't debate me. And he's constantly on social media saying, "I will debate bring me your best rabbi. Bring him to me. Bring him to me. Bring him to me right now. Whoever your best rabbi is. And I will take care of him. I will take him down with the truth." But they're afraid to do it. Do you understand these people are playing 4 or 5D chess? If you were really that big of a threat, do you think you would be alive to do a part 3 right now? Do you really think that you would be alive to do a part 3 or a part 4 or whatever? Let me answer that for you. No, you would not. But they allow certain narratives to continue, because as long as it brings you back to their book, they don't care. They don't care. The thing they care about, the only thing they care about, is any information that's out here that's questioning who they say they are. It doesn't mean that the information is there saying who you are, especially if you're using their same book to define who you are. That's some crazy stuff right there, right? But as long as the information brings you back to their book, brings you back to their source, they're not afraid. They'll do all these old things and make you think, oh, here they come, and, you know, play good cop and bad cop and all that. They'll do all that stuff to make you think something is up. But trust and know, these folks roll with military. Do you understand what I'm saying? These folks roll with military, okay? Harvey Weinstein, for example, what people don't know is Harvey Weinstein, he used to have the members of the was it the IDF? IDL, I keep getting it, IDF. He used to have members of the Israeli military he used to work with in Hollywood. Like, if anytime he wanted to go after somebody, man, forget that. Forget getting Securitas or something. No, he went to the Israeli military, their secret service, had them come over and handle business in Hollywood. This is how these people roll. They don't care about, oh, they don't want to see me come out with this video because they're afraid of the truth. If they were really that afraid, you would not be breathing. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's why you got so many individuals that are out here who, anytime their a video goes down, you know, their channel goes down or something like that, you know, that's level 1 stuff. But I'm telling you right now, if you were really that big of a threat, you would not be breathing. This is how these people roll. but we just accept it almost like as a badge of honor or something like that. And we think, oh, they can't accept this truth. And then once the time that they take you off, you off that, and they put you and you're allowed to get back on social media, they know you're going to be saying the same stuff. So they're not afraid of you. Right now, they are not afraid of you. They're not. They're not, because they understand that right now in this system, we hold all the cards. That's just the facts, family. And that's something that a lot of our people don't want to acknowledge or accept, but they do. So they're not afraid of you. So getting back to this individual, they're not afraid of him. They're not. But this is yet another example when I want to bring out of how you're taking history, and I'm putting that in air quotes, and something that you're posturing as something that can save people's lives. But if you want to get this information that could save your life, you're going to have to pay for it. you're going to have to pay a whole lot for it. I don't get it, family. Maybe you do or something. Maybe you don't see a problem with that, but we have to put an end. We have to put a stop to the madness that's out here, because you have a lot of people out here. And those are just two examples I gave you. There are many, many other people out here that have been doing this to our people for so long. And let me just say this, and then I'm done. You have a lot of powers that shouldn't be out here that will promote individuals who scam our people one way or another. They will do this because by doing this, it serves as a multiple purpose. Number one, it robs you of your brain power that you would use in how to get out of the matrix system. Number one. Number two, it robs you of your financial resources, where instead of you using your money to, let's say, invest in buying land or buying, things that our people really need, you investing it in some museum that most people ain't even been to yet. And it's not even a museum at all. I'm talking about Tariq Nasheed. It's a club. It's a comedy club. It literally is a comedy club. All he's been having are comedy stand-up clubs there. That's it. And so things like this, like these different individuals that come out of nowhere sometime, and they're constantly are after your attention, trying to pull money off of you and all that. These are all distractions that keep you away from doing the things that you should be doing right now. Like some of the things we talk about is the importance of fixing your credit, going to people who are experts in that area and learning the importance of fixing your credit so you can get the things you need so that you can get out of the rat race that you've been in and maybe get in a much better situation. You understand what I'm saying? You need to also look into, like I said, buying land, for example. It could be buying land here or abroad, taking care of your health. These are important conversations that we need to be having right now and investing in. Do you understand what I'm saying? But all of this other stuff out here, family, I'm telling you right now, these are nothing but huge distractions. And it's important for us to take the initiative and make sure that we're looking into these things so that we can get to the bottom line of the truth. But rest assured, family, the biggest obstacles that you're going to be dealing with all of this stuff, it ain't white people. It ain't the small hat people, or whatever you want to call it. It's people that look like you, and it's people that look like me. It's sad, but it's very true. So, okay, so what we're going to do now, we're going to go ahead. We're going to take a short break. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about this new thing that we're introducing over on SambaTree. That's right, SambaTree.com. And then we got one more topic we're going to cover, and we'll be right back. All right, we're back. Thank you so much for tuning in. So glad that you guys are here with us this evening. Remember, after we're finished our little kind of conversation tonight, we're going to have the phone lines open, and we're going to have you come on, and if you got a question or a comment or things like that, you'll be invited to come and do so, to take part in the conversation tonight, okay? And so that's what we're going to do. So if you got something, don't be hiding behind a keyboard. This is your opportunity, okay? So this individual, Yaz Botanical, I would definitely like to conversate with you, okay? I'm not going to do it in the chat, though. I would like to hear your voice, and you will be more than welcome here. You will be treated with respect, okay? But I do want to hear what you're saying, okay? I want you to get a clear opportunity to communicate what you're saying here. So I hope you stick around and take part in the conversation, all right? And yeah, she said, I have my own opinions, and I have a right to share them respectfully. Absolutely. But we, as like myself and other people, we have a right to agree or disagree respectfully. And that's what you're going to get. Okay. So I'm inviting you, and I'm inviting anyone else. You're more than welcome to participate. Okay. All righty. So with that being said, let me get to what we are offering over on SambaTree, sambatree.com. Got my producer in the background. Anyway, let me get to let me get here. Hold on for a sec. Here we go. Right here. All right. So SambaTree, we just, this is something that we had a long time ago, but we stopped offering it. But now we have it. It is back, y'all. Wild Caribbean Sea Moss Gel. We have just started adding this. This has just been added to the website. Sea Moss Gel. Right here. Let me go ahead and click on Shop Now here. And I have some right here on the desk here, and I will share with you, what it is and all that stuff. Because, sea moss, making your own sea moss gel, it can be a process that takes a little bit long that, some people may not have, or maybe you just don't know how to do it. Well, you ain't got to worry about that. What if you can get it and it's already been done for you? All right. But it's been done in a very clean and at the source way. All right. So let me read the description first, and then I'll show you some, and I'm actually going to taste some here. All right. So here we go. It's Wild Caribbean Sea Moss Gel. Ready to use Caribbean Sea Moss Gel. No soak, no fuss. It's a 16-ounce jar. Our gold and purple sea moss is washed and cleaned, soaked, rinsed, then blended in filtered water to create a sea moss gel. The directions are as follows. It's take 2 tablespoons daily, or mix 2 tablespoons into any smoothie, soup, salad, dressing, applesauce, or pudding to thicken and to make so much more nutritious. Store your gel in the refrigerator for up to 4 weeks or up to a year in the freezer. All right. And so there you go right there. That's the purple sea moss. So we have it added here, y'all. And, and as you know, if you know by now, sea moss, it has over 92 vitamins and minerals. So this is something that, you want to talk about a multivitamin kind of situation. Sea moss is it for sure. And we already do sell the sea moss dried, but we now have it in a gel format as well. So there it is right there, ladies and gentlemen. And let me pull this up here, the screen up now. Yeah, and it comes with a food safe seal. All right. So it ain't just thrown in a jar or whatever. It comes in a food safe. Let me see if I can get the focus. So you see that right there? It's a food safe seal. All right. So it ain't going to come out. It ain't going to dump out or anything like that. And like we said, you want to make sure you keep that joint refrigerated and good there and all that. So in that way, it'll all be good. So anyway, so I'm actually going to try some here. I think I'll try which one? Let's go with the gold first. Someone said I can't see the price so well. Let me bring that up again. It's right here. It's right under right here. Select one. Let's see. We got this.
It's 16 ounces and it's $19.99 for the gold and $21.99.
Oh, I see.
But it's a pound.
Okay.
It's a pound of moss.
It's a pound of sea moss that you're getting in this thing right here. A pound of sea moss. That's a lot. All right, so here we go. Let me so that's the prices right there. All right, let me pull the screen up here. I'm gonna open up my sea moss situation here.
That's ours from the refrigerator. That's
all right, so here you go, right here, y'all. That's what it look like. If I can get it to focus, hold on. Come on, there you go. So it's just really creamy, you know, that's what you can see. All right, so let me try it. No, I'm just playing. Very oceany, like this, like it always is. And it doesn't have, you taste the hints of the ocean, but it's not fishy. Like I've had sea moss before, and it can be almost like fishy. This ain't fishy. This is very smooth, and it's something I would definitely put like in a smoothie or something like that. Or you can just take it yourself. You know what I mean? Just take it straight like I'm taking right now. This is the purple one right here. Come on, focus, Mr. Camera. Come on, focus, Mr. Camera. You can do it. There you go. All right. So that's it right there. See the consistency right there? You see how it's just nice and smooth? I ain't gonna take as much there though. I could just feel the strength come into my body. Whoa. Whoa, wait a minute. I'm getting it. Okay, y'all, it's gonna be a whole nother broadcast. I'm probably gonna be on the moon tomorrow, man. Broadcasting. Wow. But it's the same thing. This, to me, this one tastes a little more. I taste a little more of the ocean in it a little bit, but it ain't fishy. You know what I mean? And yep, made fresh. The ingredients is nothing added. It ain't made in China. We don't do that kind of stuff here. We rebuke that stuff. We don't do that. The things that we sell on sambatree.com, just to let you know, we don't just find stuff and like, oh, let's just sell that. Oh, let's just sell that. No, the lab is here in this household, and we try it first, and we want to make sure that, okay, if we like it and it works for us, then maybe it's something that other people would like too, and it will be a help for them as well. So this is something that you definitely want to check out. It is now on the website on sambatree.com. Go right here. It's right there. It's $19.99 for the gold, and it's $21.99 for the purple sea moss. It's, you know, so there you go right there. So definitely check that out. Like I said, again, it's something that you can add to smoothies. You can add to your, they said salads. You ever add that to your salad? I never added that consistency to a salad, but hey, sea moss gel. You ever put sea moss gel on your salad?
in salad dressing.
Oh, okay. I can see that. Okay. Well, yeah, that. I've actually added sea moss gel to pancake mix. I've done that. That's another thing you can add it to, or anything baked, you know, that you may have. You know, you can add a little bit of sea moss gel to that. I'm trying to think what's some other creative things you can add sea moss gel to.
I like it in applesauce.
And applesauce. Applesauce is like the one that I know a lot of people do that. Yeah. So applesauce, you can do that. There's a lot of things you can do to it. And you're getting the 92 vitamins or minerals. Your body, do you understand how much the American diet is just lacking in minerals? We are lacking in so many minerals, family. It's ridiculous. And so for us to be able to, have access to things where we can replenish that, we don't have to, we can get off the complain train. Oh, Bill Gates, he's doing this. Oh, Bill Gates, oh, they take it over that. Okay, he can go jump in a lake, 2 lakes, matter of fact, okay, that he made. He can do that himself. We don't care. But for now, there are things out here that you can access and you can get. And like I said, we have it. Other people have it too, or whatever. And, but we have it here. And this is something that we have tested and tried right in our lab right here. Okay. And we're very happy with it and very excited. And not only are we going to be offering this, it's going to be, like I told you, every month we're always seeing like we're introducing something else. So stay tuned and you'll see a lot of other things coming through too as well on sambatree.com. Make sure you check us out, family, and love you very much.
Love y'all. I'm gonna be back soon. We literally have a house full of boxes, and it's just taking a minute to just try to get things back to normal. So I'll be back though. I'll be back soon. I love y'all. Love y'all much.
Someone had a question. They said, "How long does it last before?" Well, we just answered that, right?
That's okay. They may have missed it. What's the question? How long does it last?
Oh, I'll read it. It says, store your gel in the refrigerator for up to 4 weeks or up to a year in the freezer.
That's right.
Someone else had a question, and I think they're saying, can it stay fresh while shipped? Yeah.
Yes, yes. And what we do is we'll put a little ice packs in there just to keep it cool in transit. But yes.
So you heard that. Yeah, we'll put ice packs in there. So, in transit. So that way we'll, just a little way to ensure that it stays fresh for you. Okay. So we'll do that as well. So during the shipping process. So yeah, so you can get that as well. And it's great for babies too. So even, your little, for your children, if you want them to get their little their minerals, you can put it in their little baby food or whatever, just not a whole lot, just put in a little bit in there, mix it in there so that they can get their thing together as their brain and everything is coming together. You want to make sure that they have the all the minerals that they're supposed to get in their diet. Anything else? You good? Okay. All righty. So again, the website is sambatree.com. Let's see. We're moving right along. One last thing here, and then we're going to open the phone lines up here. This one is very quick. Let me see if I can find it. This was a lot. This segment here is going to be a lot quicker than the last one that we just talked about here. Let me see if I can find that is really just one little article. If not, I can just tell you basically what it is. Let me see. Okay, maybe this one would be the best example I can share right here. Hold on for a second. Let me open this up here. All right. Pull this up here on the screen. This one right here. Okay. So this is, as far as Israel's concerned and the United States and how they're reacting. Now, if you saw the post I did earlier this week, we talked about how there's an anti-BDS bill. And basically what that is, this is a bill that has been, that many states have already passed, and it's been cleared. Basically, if states catch you, if you are a contractor, your business, and you do contracts with the state that you're in, and let's say you get on social media and you're like, I'm 100% for Palestine, for the Palestinian folks. Well, that state, by law, in many of these states in the U.S. and also in different countries as well, if they catch you saying that kind of stuff, that state can cancel your contracts. And in some places, you can either be penalized financially, with a fine, or some countries, I think there's even been imprisonment. Now, this is all over a state of Israel, because it's not a country, it's a state of Israel. I mean, this is insane, right? So it's not like if they catch you saying anything derogatory about the United States. No, if you say something about another land, they're saying this is what can happen to you. See, this is why, like I told y'all, family, growing up in the church, we was also always told about, the one world religion, Oh, this is the one world religion. It's coming. Well, guess what? We find out that the one world religion is Judaism, right? And Judaism, at the center of it, is Zionism. You do have, even though you have practitioners of Judaism that aren't really Zionists, but at the end of the day, it's going to be Zionism. Israel, they see themselves as the chosen people. They're the ones that God himself chose them to be the ones that deliver the truth to the whole world and all that stuff, right? That's what they teach. That's what they believe, right? So anyway, you have a world system that is promoting the fact that Israel is the nation above all, the Jewish people. These are the people above all people. This is what the world system as we know it is all in on this. OK, and so the United States, when all this stuff started breaking loose in Israel and in that whole area, in the Gaza Strip area, the United States immediately sprung into action. So the United States already have sent ships. They said the Pentagon is deploying 2 carrier strike groups, 11 Burke-class destroyers, and a number of Ticonderoga-class cruisers, amphibious assault ships, THAAD and Patriot missile defense systems, multiple squadrons of fighter jets, strategic bombers, and undisclosed assets to the Middle East. So this is what they're all moving over there in that area in order to protect Israel. Now, I wanted to mention that just to say this for our people out here who are passionately pushing for reparations. Now, again, I'm not against it, but I want to tell you the truth. In order for you to get what you're asking for, this system as we know it has to come down. You have to have that kind of firepower that I just mentioned to you, if not more, to cause this system to be brought down low. You have to, if you're talking about getting your payback, that's how you're going to have to come to the fight. You know how the old saying goes, you don't show up to a gunfight with a knife. And what I'm saying to you, all of these videos and protests and things like that, you can be passionate on Twitter Live or YouTube Live and on Facebook Live or whatever, and talk about how and break down how we're supposed to get our money. And you can do all of that. But if you're not coming to the fight, like I just read to you just now, with that kind of power, that kind of power will bring down nations. You understand what I'm saying? What you are proposing when you are pushing for reparations is for a total destruction of the system that we're currently in. If you're not thinking in that way, then you're playing around. If you think that you can get full restitution in a corrupt system, you, ladies and gentlemen, are fooling yourselves, because that's not how wars are won. I've never heard a case in history where the oppressor was guilted into handing over half of their resources. That has never happened in history. I've never heard of that. But somehow black folks, 400 years later, somehow we still think that we can continue to protest, we can continue to scream and holler, and somehow these people are going to feel bad and be like, you know what? We did do these people bad. Oh, God, we're going to have to give them their money. We're going to give them all their money. That ain't how it works. It's not how it works. You're going to have to go in and you're going to have to roll in just like that. Just like what you're going to have. You got access to those ships. You got access to that kind of artillery or the weaponry and all that. You got access to all of that? No, you don't. Now, again, I'm not leaving you there. What I'm saying to you is this: there are many things that as a people we can do and live a full, successful life that we should be focused on. And I'm not preaching Jesus. I ain't preaching anything. I'm not saying, well, here, take religion. No, I'm not saying that. One of the things, like I said, we got to focus on is what? Our health. We need to have better health. So how do you do that? You got to grow your own food at this point, right? So how do you do that? Well, you got to grow your own food, whether if it's on your back porch, on your backyard, or on land that you purchase. You got to start thinking along those lines so that you can produce your own food that's not been altered or tampered with, so that your family can get the fresh food and that they need in order to survive. Same thing with access to water. Water is more valuable than diamonds. And yet you see some of these Negroes out here got a mouth full of diamonds. But when you look through their portfolio, they don't own one strip of land that has any kind of water on it. You understand what I'm saying? So you got to start thinking along. There are many things we can do right now to live a full, happy, successful life. We can. And my happiness and my fulfillment will not be tied to what the government hands to me. And this is the point that I'm going to keep driving home over and over and over again. I am not saying that there's not a case for reparations. There is. But if you're going to get it, you're going to have to roll big, just like what they're doing for Israel right now. Because on top of that, I think I also read too, you know what the United States is doing? From what I understand, someone can double check me on this. The United States is also providing, I think, free health care for people in Israel. I think they're paying for that. If I'm not mistaken, someone can check on that. But I did hear that. I meant to double check that this week. Healthcare, I think education, I think they're putting money up on there. And they're also considering sending $100 million over to Israel right now. They ain't thinking about you. They ain't thinking about your video about this is why we need reparations. They ain't thinking about you. I'm just looking at the chat right now. Someone said that first picture was my son, Karan Jackson. He drowned at that lake on 2018. Sorry for your loss. Sorry for your loss. And this is why I wanted to highlight people like your son. You know, I'm jumping back. I'm just looking at the comment here because, see, it's stories like this that are getting lost here. I don't want to be focused on all of these ghost stories and not be focused on the reality that, yeah, you know, it ain't just white people that were drowning in those lakes. It's black people that were too. You know what I'm saying? And why we're not talking about that? There's a much bigger thing that you can be focused on. But let's not forget these other stories of our people who have also, you know, drowned in that lake. You know what I'm saying? Because their stories count too. And we can't treat these stories as if, well, it don't fit in this narrative, so let's leave it out. No, we can't do that. It's very important. And thank you, Ebony, for showing up here and putting that out here. I really appreciate that. All right. But yeah, anyway, so there you go, family. I just wanted to share that really quick. So what I'm going to do now, let me put on a little music. I'm going to open the phone lines up. And, you know, if you want to call in, comment, question, whatever, like I said again, I just simply ask that you keep it respectful. You are invited to do so. Not going to take a whole lot of calls, at least I don't think we will. But I'll put the phone number up once I get set up here. Just give me a moment and then we'll go ahead and get that going, okay? So give me a moment here. Let me figure this out here real quick here. It shouldn't take me long at all, okay? Uh-oh. All right, the phone line is on the screen right now. If you want to call in, go ahead and give us a call. Phone number is 323-696-0250. Again, that phone number is 323-696-0250. Go ahead and give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. Love to hear your input. And, Yeah, I'm not gonna be begging folks. Okay, I ain't gonna do that. I got other things I'm gonna be doing too tonight too. But go ahead and give us a call if you like, and let's go. All right. Man, I tell you, last night, it was such a beautiful night out here in the West. It was, the weather's starting to change now. It's getting cooler. And we were outside, I was able to acquire a telescope from someone not too long ago. I couldn't use it where I was living, in Jersey because, we were living, it was a bunch of tall trees there, but here is wide open. And we were looking, I was able to use it for the first time last night, man. It was so nice. And me and the family, we were out there in the backyard looking at things. So let me go ahead and take this phone call. All right. Hello, caller. Can you hear me? Hello, caller. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can hear you.
All right. Hold on for a second. Let me try this again because I want to make sure I get you connected here. Okay. Say something. Hello? All right, there we go. Yeah, I can hear you. You hear me?
Yes, Shalom.
Hey there. All right. Hey, brother. How you doing?
Yeah, this is Y'all Botanical. I was just calling because I wanted to show some love, but also some respect.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe answer some of your questions. Maybe you can answer some of mine.
Sure.
Respectfully.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just calling because I wanted to kind of bring what I was trying to say into the chat into more clarity, I guess. If you can hear me.
I can hear you just fine. I'm waiting on you.
Cool. So my name is, my business is called Y'all Botanical.
Mm-hmm.
You can find it on Instagram, and my website is Y'all Botanical. My name is Shakir King. I'm from the South Bronx. I identify as a Hebrew Israelite or an Israelite.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a part of any denomination or any camp or church assembly or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from the South Bronx, New York City, and I'm 30 years old. That's why I call you an elder. I'm not sure if most people are familiar with our way of life. If you're older, I usually refer to you as an elder if I don't know your name. But I did want to ask, what's your name, elder?
Oh, I'm Dwayne.
Dwayne?
Yes.
All right, Elder Dwayne. It's a pleasure to be acquainted with you.
Mm-hmm. Likewise. All right. So what's the, if you could kind of get to the point of your call, because I want to get to that because I want to make sure we have time for other people as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I was just calling because, you sent me the invite to call, I guess, because I was making some comments in the chat on the Yaz Botanical. A lot of people were disagreeing, telling me, this is not a Hebrew group. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I'm not here because it's a Hebrew group. I'm just here because a lot of information you share is truth. Mm-hmm. I don't agree with everything, but, I'm not biased. I'm open to whatever is true. Mm-hmm. For me, I identify as an Israelite. So when I hear you making certain comments like, oh, that book is their book and certain things like that, not to go all over the place, but that comment I disagree with because as far as I understand, the Hebrew Bible belongs to African people,
Okay.
Or North African, Northeast African, just one thing like that in particular. Mm-hmm. I do agree with certain things like when you were talking about how a lot of people in the movement or in this Hebrew movement could go into a Judaism, which is not what we really want to do, or a modern Judaism, I like to call it. Mm-hmm. Zionism, things like that. I'm completely against all of that. I think scripturally, and you're a man of God, obviously, right?
Well, I'm gonna leave that up to you.
Say that one more time.
I said I'm gonna leave that up to you to answer that one.
Oh, well, that's not up for me to answer. I believe that you're a man of God.
Okay.
You sharing truth, and I think that's pretty much the reason why I followed your page. Okay. I can't remember exactly what was the first video that got me here, but the Most High and the Holy Spirit leads me into many different things, many different information. When you shared the video earlier today, I shared Hosea. I believe it's Hosea chapter.
Well, can I stop you for a second, and then you can make your point, because I want to make sure we take things step by step here. I want to go back to what you were saying as far as your view as far as the Bible is concerned, saying that it's the book that belongs to, did you say like North Africans?
No, I was just referring to the geological location of Israel, which is in Northeast Africa.
It's in Northeast.
So I said
okay.
Northeast Africans.
So when you say Israel, or you're talking about what they call today modern Israel, you're saying that's the real land, or you? Because there's some people who disagree with that.
No, there's different opinions. I still.
Well, what do you believe?
Well, from what I know, from what I've learned, I study anthropology, the four fields of anthropology, and learning about haplogroups and different lineages, I would say. It's the truth leading up to where we are, our origins, where the Semitic origins are. It's kind of showing that it's going towards in that area, right?
Okay.
Which is Northeast Africa. For me, I can't definitively say that is the historical land, but I know it's a part of it, I do study some other, I have studied some other biblical locations with ancient maps. So, I'm still not completely sure on that. I just know that a lot of evidence supports that is the historical land. And even DNA from our people, the E1B1A DNA or the E1B1 and the sub haplogroups under that supports that land historically connects us as African Americans and West Africans and anybody else under the E haplogroup back to that land.
Okay. So
including the Truthians and the other ancient tribes that were there prior to these people that are there now.
Okay, so let me ask you this, and this is a question. If you been following me, this is something I ask pretty regularly here. When it comes to okay, so the DNA stuff, I will tell you straight up out the gate, that is not my area of expertise. I do not pretend to know the ins and outs of it. There are plenty of people here on social media that that talk about that a whole lot. Quite honestly, it's like an opinion. Everyone has one, when it comes to that science. So, it depends on who you listen to, but I'm just saying up front out the gate, that is not my specialty. But what I can do is use my, I guess, basic common sense and reasoning. When I look at our culture, I'm talking about us as, let's say, for example, in the case of when we're talking about African Americans specifically, I look at our culture and there are many things that I can trace in our own culture where it's uniquely African, and more specifically, because of the first main wave that came out. Now, all the other waves that came, they were extracting people from Africa on other parts of Africa, but a lot of it is Bantu based. This transatlantic slave trade and all that. So I'm just speaking right now, just for the people in here in the United States. Okay. Now, when I look at our cultural practices and traditions, there's a multitude of things that I can personally point to and say, this is uniquely African. When I say African, again, we're using it in a very general sense, because you look at our DNA, we're all over the place. They mix us up and all of that. But I'm very hard pressed to find anything at all that is distinctly and uniquely Hebrew. So my question to you is, do you have any evidence in your own family, not from a documentary, not from a link, not from a book, not from a study, in your own family, more specifically, let's say your grandparents, where there was Hebrew information that was passed down from your grandparents to your parents to you?
It's hard. I would say yes. certain things within the culture.
Like what?
Like some of the foods that we cook.
Like what?
So a lot of people don't know. All right, so my family is Trinidadian. My mother and my father is from Trinidad.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a lot of foods that are distinctively African in nature, like Caribbean food, like curries and different spices,
Right.
Roti, even certain ways that they prepare the food.
Mm-hmm.
I can't go into it super hardcore because I'm not so familiar with everything, but just to say, like, certain parts of our culture come back from the African people that we were taken from, I guess, off the coast, off of West Africa.
Mm-hmm.
So when you study the connection between that food and their food, you see that it has a lot of similarities in it.
Yes.
And even some of the languages too, like the lingo or the way that we would speak, a lot of our language is very similar, especially people in the Caribbean, back to the African culture. Even the way we dress or our hairstyles. What else would it be? Basically things like language, the hair, the food, and even the names. Our names.
And everything you're saying is 100% correct. What I'm looking for are things that are uniquely Hebrew, like when like things like shalom, for example. Did you grow up in a household, or did your grandparents, did they say shalom, or did they greet you with did they say mishpachah?
Kane, so my family didn't speak Hebrew growing up, right? Because my family came out of the transatlantic slave trade. Mm-hmm. So our languages was cut off when we came here to this country. I'm sure a lot of us are familiar with that. Our names were cut off when we came to this country. We all know the story of Roots and how they changed his name from Kunta Kinte, which is actually, depending on what you would consider to be Hebrew, it has a Hebrew derivative of it. Because a lot of people don't know that the Ewe language or a lot of African language and the Bantu languages are actually Hebrew languages. But they classify our language as Niger-Congo instead of it being a Semitic language, which is wrong. You could find a lot of and if you study linguistics, you will find a relation between Niger-Congo languages and Semitic languages. Okay. Or really, it's both supposed to be classified the same way.
Right, but I'm trying to, but I want to stay on this point that I'm trying to get you to identify specific Hebrew practices, because, for example, when I can look in my own family, like when it comes to recipes, when it comes to clothing, when it comes to music styles, when it comes to that, all of these things are 100% uniquely, and again, I'm using a broad sense here, African. There's nothing Hebrew about it at all. Nothing at all about it.
So what do you think?
But before you ask a question, I'm trying to get you to answer mine. I'm trying to get you to still identify what are those Hebrew things in your household.
All right. So
I mean, straight up, and when I say Hebrew, I mean straight up, not like, well, it's kind of this and it's tied to the E1BA. No, I'm talking about.
No, I get that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I got you.
I get it. Of course, I understand. For me, straight up, like I said, I grew up in America. So my household is not exactly the same as the traditional European Hebrew household or whatever Hebrew household y'all identify as exclusively Hebrew. We come from the diaspora of Hebrew. And even in America, it's mixed out here when it comes to culture. So for me and my household, I grew up not celebrating what we call this holidays, like Christmas and Thanksgiving. We would have gatherings, but my father, from growing up, because he grew up in a Hebraic life culture back in his whole country, which some people will consider to be Rastafarian or the Ethiopian culture, but a derivative of it, which is in it's an Abrahamic religion, Rastafarianism. So we grew up, they didn't celebrate holidays we grew up understanding that these things were not biblical, so we didn't eat pork. That was something. We had to make sure that the boys were circumcised. That was something. Exclusively Hebraic, or
no, I have to disagree with that. Circumcision.
That's why I said if you consider it to be, some people don't think circumcision is exclusive to Hebrew.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah. The circumcision is definitely not, because you got Muslims that do it too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what I'm seeing is, like I said, I'm with you, but unfortunately I gotta get off the. Because I want other people to chime in as well on this topic or any other topic for that matter.
Absolutely.
But I appreciate you calling in. But this is what my challenge has been, and like I said, this is something I've had to ask myself. Let me just make this one point. See, the thing is, and this is a lie, I think a lot of times we have told ourselves, and I'm putting myself in that number as well. And the lie is that we have told ourselves that the transatlantic slave trade, what it did was literally blanked our minds to where we lost everything about who we are. That is not true at all, because the truth of the matter is, when we came over on these slave ships, or however we got over into slavery, they still needed people to cook their food. So we didn't automatically start cooking American food, hot dogs and hamburgers. They had to rely on the skill set that we brought over from Africa. That was one way that our culture survived. Another way was how we communicated with one another. We communicated in our own African-based dialects. We weren't saying shalom. We weren't saying mishpachah. We weren't saying khan. We weren't saying any of these things. These were words that we were
speaking Aramaic when we came to this
country. Some did. I'm not debating that at all. That's not a debatable issue. But we're not talking Aramaic. I'm talking uniquely Hebrew. And this is like I said, unfortunately, it's not something that I've yet to see anybody or is able to answer that. But anyway,
I agree with you 100%.
You still there? I didn't hang up on you. You still there? Uh-oh. I must have lost him. You still there?
You can hear me? Yeah, you can hear me?
Oh, yeah. I thought I lost you. Okay, go ahead.
I was just saying.
I'll give you the last word. Go ahead.
Thank you, Elder. I appreciate you. I really do respect you. I appreciate what you've been bringing out. I just want to say I love what you're doing. I love my people, man. For real. I love my people. I know that there's a lot of misinformation that comes out from the community of, the Hebrew Israelites and things of that nature. I'm just here for the truth. I'm just a kid that came into Christ, through a supernatural encounter, and the Holy Spirit led me into this. I don't follow anybody that tries to teach me their theology. I'm just here seeking out truth, which is why I subscribe to your channel, because I agree with a lot of the things that you bring out. But when it comes from me and my identity from my studies, this is where I've been brought. Even if I didn't identify as a Hebrew, I still know that I'm a child of the Most High God, and I know that our people are special people to God. And I believe that we should continue to seek out this truth, regardless of what religion tries to obstruct. How do I say this? Religion tries to shape it. It's not about religion, is it? Or it's not about what you believe. What is the truth, So I'm just a young man that's seeking truth, and I try to do that respectfully, And I just pray that my people will be able to know who they are, where they come from, and where they're going.
And that's a good path to be on. The one thing I will respectfully correct you on is this. You say you're 30 years old?
Yes, sir.
You are not a kid. That's a man's age.
Young man. That's what I meant to say.
Okay, you're not that. Okay. I don't want you to see that. I want you to continue to stay on that path of asking questions and keep seeking, and don't be afraid of any little pushback on anything, but just know what you believe and why you believe what you believe, and just always make sure that you are malleable enough to change when the truth really comes, because truth doesn't always come with a smile and a handshake. Truth sometimes come with a southpaw. You know what I'm saying?
that's
So
true.
you
That's
better
facts,
make
that's
sure
facts.
you prepare for that. So thank you for calling, brother. You take care,
Yes,
and
sir.
yeah, anytime you want to reach out and chat, you can always email me. Okay.
Thank you, brother.
All
All
right.
right,
You
God
take
bless.
care. All right. Same thing. Bye. All right, very good conversation. Got the phone number up here, and yeah, he's right. Someone said, I like this brother, sincere and honest. And I agree with that. You know, you have a lot of people out there. We may not agree on everything, and that's not what it's about. If we agreed on everything, then I think we would be part 2 of iRobot. You know, everybody's a robot. Everybody's agreeing. We're not going to agree on everything, you know, but we can, what we encourage on this platform is people to ask questions and to probe a little bit and, you know, read, you know, just some of the basic things that we should all be doing anyway. So anyway, phone number still on the screen. Phone number again, one more time, 323-696-0250. I think someone was calling and it went out. So, but I'm here now. And yeah, so yeah, because sometimes I get people after the fact that will get in the comment section and they're like, well, nobody, you know, and just saying stuff. And I'm like, okay, get on the phone then. They won't do that. But anyway, but we are here. So I'm trying to think the next time we'll go live. Next time we go live will probably be this coming Friday. Probably this Friday or Saturday. We'll see. I'm gearing up, y'all, for our movie night. We used to do movie night over on mybontu.com, but I'm gearing up for that. So we'll be doing that soon. All right. Let's see. We got another caller here. Caller, can you hear me? All right. Hold on. Let me. Yeah, hold on. Let me get this right here. Hold on. All right. Okay. I can hear you now. Can you hear me? Caller, can you hear me? Hold on. Stay on there. Hopefully you can hear me. Hold on for a sec. All right. Hold on. Okay. Caller, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. Why is this thing not working? I got to keep fiddling with it. How about now? Can you hear me? Hold on. One more time.
Me.
All right. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. There we go. We finally got it. I feel like Alexander Graham Bell here. All right. How you doing today?
I'm good. I've been listening to you for a while now, and I didn't hear the beginning of the podcast, but I just wanted to add that I also think this talk about flat Earth and the abos, I feel like that's also chasing our tail and going nowhere, and not productive.
It can be. You know, it certainly can be. I do believe that there's truth to that. But if you follow the whole flat Earth thing now, I mean, the movement, I've been kind of checking in on it. I mean, these people, you talking about chasing the tail, they chasing each other now. I mean, they be going in on each other and stuff. I'm like, wait a minute. I thought this was like supposed to be a joyous discovery. Why now folk fighting each other now?
Yeah, because, you know, and in real life, I don't really meet people like that. I sometimes I wonder if it's all a bunch of YouTube, you know, people having fun or just trying to make a name for themselves. But I don't see from the YouTube, you would think that the Black community is riddled with all these flat Earth believers and stuff. But I don't think that's the case.
No, I think. Yeah, social media. I was just talking with my son about this recently. It's like social media in of itself. It's kind of, I said, you got social media, then you have real life. And, you know, there are a lot of actors that are on or bad actors, I would say, on the social media landscape that are paid to drive certain narratives to keep people distracted. And that's just what it is. I mean, you know, like getting off of the flat Earth thing, like it's these, I can't even think of the girl's name. I'm glad I have a sanitized mind, but you know, this is some rapper girl or whatever that's out here, and she just be shaking her behind. She talking about her private parts all the time and just all kinds of stuff. And people try to, well, someone that's even worse than that. please don't try to bring up the memory. I'm done. I'm serious. I don't want to remember her name. But anyway, yeah, it's like take your pick out here. But my point is that you do have what's the name of that organization? I talked about this years ago. I can't think of it. But basically, you have people, their organizations that are in place to drive certain narratives or conversations in the public space. And so be it flat earth, be it sexual promiscuity, be it whatever, the right versus the left, they do this stuff all the time. They plant people in these different positions in our space to drive certain conversations and to get people like you and me distracted on things. And that's why you see numbers of people more and more saying, man, shoot, I'm going to take a break off of social media. Go ahead.
Just my one last thing is that I feel like we're entering a certain time period, and things are shifting, and the powers that shouldn't be are worried that if we're awake and we're diligent enough, we could flip the script. So it's really important now that we stay with our face pushed into the sand, that we're distracted with all kinds of things. Because right now, I feel like if we I don't know, did something like grow our own food, share it with each other, something, I think we could actually change things right now.
That's really the focus. What it should be is because ultimately, I think Black people. I'll say Black people, I'm talking about in the diaspora. I'll be more specific. We were the prototype, if you will, for the slavery that we see today, because slavery now isn't just Black folks. It's everybody. And this small group of people that's controlling things wants to enslave the entire world. And I think they used us as the prototype. And when you sit back and look at this, because when you look at your finances, you can't do a doggone thing unless your finances are rated by them. Who owns all the finances? They do. Who owns a lot of this other stuff? They do. So how to break out of that is to get out of thinking that you have to depend on them, for anything. And that's a hard thing for a lot of people. We don't need them for our food. We don't need them for our water. We don't need them for our shelter. And we certainly don't need them in believing who we really are, or I should say the spirituality piece. There's a lot of people of our people out here who are like, saying, like they're the fake people, or, and this is, we don't need Christianity anymore, but I still got my Bible. And it's like, well, you're still in the matrix. Then if that's the case, you didn't leave anywhere. You just got out of one classroom, went down the hallway to the next classroom, so it's a hard process of weaning yourself off of this system, but it's something that has to be done if we're going to be free. And there's still a lot of space for us to be free. I'll give you the last word.
Well, I don't have too much else. Just I appreciate your podcast. I try to listen. I'm not so good with the BandTube. I try, but I don't know how to catch when you switch. Actually, I think I figured it out. Okay. The most recent one, I figured it out. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Basically, like anytime we go live, I'll try to, sometimes every now and then I'll say, hey, I'm live, but I don't give people the link. So I'm going to work on next time, anytime when I go live, I'm going to make sure that I'm putting a direct link so people can click on it and it'll take you right to the broadcast, as opposed to having people like yourself hunting and pecking for it. But that's when we go live. But anything else, it's just up there. You can see it at any time. You don't necessarily need a link for it. But thank you for the call. I really appreciate you calling. You take care and enjoy your night, okay?
Thank you. Take care.
All right, take care. Bye. All right. Calls are going pretty good here. Let's see. We got another caller. Someone else tried to call in. Go ahead and you can, we only got one line here. That's probably good, because last thing I need to see is a whole board lit up of different calls, because ain't nobody in this house going to be the operator for all of that. So, and I'm certainly not going to put that on anybody here to be the screener. So I'll do all of that with one line and make it nice and easy. and it's cheaper too. So, so anyway, yeah, let's go ahead. We got another caller coming in. Let's see, caller, can you hear me?
Yes,
Hey there, how you doing, caller? How you doing tonight?
I'm good.
Good. All right, what's on your mind?
This is Rebecca. Ron Martis. We
Hey,
buy from the
finally.
tree. Yeah, my question is, have you and Nicole heard about? It's called sugarcane oil.
Sugarcane oil?
Yes.
Speak on it.
Okay. It's something that we were going to ask if you guys could. I mean, we ordered some and probably shouldn't have before we were checking and vetting the company that we're buying from. It's called 0 Acres.
Okay.
So it is sugarcane oil, and it's good for a lot of things. Skin moisturizer. I mean, it's full of antioxidants and vitamins, and it's loaded with lots of excellent things. Like it's an antiseptic, and it removes dark spots. It's good for aging, and it's a very good moisturizer. So, if I don't know if you guys.
Well, we know about it now.
Look into that.
We'll know about it now, and if we look into it and we're able to get it, make sure you ain't got to worry about it. We're gonna take care of you, sis, because you've ordered from us before, right?
We always order from
you guys.
Because
I don't see that part of.
Right, we get sea moss from you.
Okay.
And we get all the 50/50, all the spices, all the shea butters. We get a lot of products. We love all the products that we've gotten so far. There's not one thing that we haven't liked.
That is awesome. Yeah, so we're going to look into that. And we're always open for those suggestions. And we're going to take good care of you. Okay, sis? So we really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
And give our love to the family too. Okay.
Definitely.
All right. Take care.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. That's good. Yeah. Like that. Yeah. Cause that's happened before where people has, hey, you ever thought about carrying this? And we're like, no, we didn't know. I told you, we don't know everything here, but we're learning and we're willing to learn. Let's see. We got any other callers? I'll probably take, let me see what my time looking like here. We're doing okay. Let's see. We'll do about 2. I'll just say 2 more calls right now, and see if we got anybody else in the house that would like to give a call. If you got a question, comment, or whatever it is, suggestion, whatever, feel free to give us a call at 323-696-0250. Now remember, don't call afterwards because it's already set. It don't receive calls, and don't leave a voice message because I ain't listening to it. Okay, I got too many other things I got to do. But yeah, if you would like to call, give a chat up, go beyond just being a keyboard warrior. Come on in the room. And there you go. Let's see what else we got going on here. So we're going to look into that. I'm still getting things set up in this office here. I wanted to change the scenery in case you didn't see yet. I've been changing things around here. I said, I want the next set, if you will, to look nice. So I'm still working on all of this back here. And then there's going to be another section in this very tiny room, that I'm in right now, where that's going to be where Nicole's going to be as well. So I'm working on all of that right now, just little by little. And at the same time, unpacking boxes and all kinds of stuff. And so we're still doing a lot of work here, on this side, but we're getting through. Today I went to get my get the license changed. Finally I went to do that. Now, New Jersey, where we moved from, New Jersey has a you go through the state. It's 100%, as far as I know, it's you just go straight to the state offices, that's it. And then you got to abide by them. But here in Arizona, you have the state offices, but you also have like contractors or the offices that are ran by like third parties that you can go to. Man, let me tell you something. Now, I've gotten my license in other states in the past, but I would say the easiest up to this point state where I got my license was Colorado. That was a quick in and out, and that was a state-run office. This one was not a state-run office. It was actually a, like I said, a third party. Man, I went in there. I was like, wait a minute. First thing I noticed, there was no line outside. That's what I'm used to. I'm used to the lines outside and people looking mad and evil. There was no line. I was like, okay. Then I opened the door up. The people were like, hey, how you? As soon as I walked in, they were like, hey, how you doing? Now, I found this place because I went on Google to find the nearest place. And they were saying they have 5-star reviews. I have never heard of a motor vehicle place with 5-star reviews. And all the comments, people are like, this is the best experience. The people are so nice and caring. If you go there, make sure you ask for so-and-so and they'll get you in and out and all this other stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. It's like that. Okay, let me go in there. And so sure enough, I rolled up in there, man. I rolled up in there, literally in and out. They were nice and everything. I was sitting up there like, you kidding me, right? Okay, what's the joke? This ain't real. This ain't a real license. Y'all messing with me, right? No. They in and out. So took care of that, and I got to take care of the rest of the stuff. I'm gonna do that tomorrow. I just didn't have time to do it all today, but took care of all of that, what I need to today. So that's progress moving forward. And I'm just getting things checked off my list. There's some other things I'm gonna be working on too, but I'm just doing one thing at a time right now. And someone said the DMV I went to in Vegas, the line was crazy long. We spent 4 hours in there. See, that was what I was used to in New Jersey. Now, New Jersey, I think, is actually getting a little bit better. I think, I guess it depends on what office you go to. But I'm telling you right now, out here, there were certain things I thought they were going to ask for. They didn't. I had everything. He was like, "Oh, we don't need that." I was like, "What?" I was like, "Okay, all right." I said, "Will you give me 2 of them? Can I give you another name?" Oh, Delmar said, that's why people can't drive out here, because once they get a license, it's for life. Everybody says that, though. Every state I've gone to, they say, we got the worst drivers. Literally everyone says that. And every state I've gone to, I'm like, man, it don't get, I have yet to be in a state where I can honestly say these drivers are nuts out here. I'm gonna be honest with you. And I've lived quite a few places. I haven't come across any state yet where I can say this state really stands out as the craziest of drivers. Maybe Florida. I'm not sure, but I would say maybe Florida. But yeah, when I see someone kind of weaving a little bit, I just back off. I mean, I ain't gonna mess with you. I ain't gonna be giving you the stare and all that, because you may have a shotgun in there waiting for me. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, all right, waiting on one more call. Since ain't nobody calling, I'll give you on. This is the last round, and we're gonna close it up for the night, so y'all can go to bed and get all tucked in. And I've been sleeping outside, man. Now that has been a huge blessing. I've always wanted to sleep outside. I have been sleeping outside in the backyard, man. And it has been beautiful. I mean, when I tell you how quiet it is, like everywhere I've lived, I always hear the highway noise somewhere in the background. There's no highway noise out here. These folks be shut down at a certain time now. I mean, I don't hear nothing. And I'm like you can almost hear your heart beating almost. That's how quiet it is. I'm like, what? Okay, Delmar, I hear you'll see how bad it is out here. Please don't be raining on my parade. Can I enjoy the moment, sis? Can I enjoy the moment? Just let me enjoy the moment. But yeah, I've been really enjoying it. And yeah, I'm sure you'll see after a while, you'll see some other craziness happening, but I ain't chasing the craziness right now. I just want to take TD Jake's advice and maximize the moment. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and shut it down then, since, if ain't nobody calling, that's fine. And but we did have some very good calls tonight. Really appreciate those that called in tonight. We'll be doing more of this, and I'm trying to make this a permanent fixture in our live broadcast that we do. But yeah, that is it. Someone said, I see it now. Everybody chiming in. No, it's California. No, it's Ohio. No, it's it. Yeah, everybody's got a story. But like I said, I'm trying to think the state that I could say. I said maybe Florida was somewhat of an exception. Georgia, maybe. I will. Wanea. No, I don't live in Sun City. No, I don't live in Sun City. No, I don't live there. And not that it's bad, but no, I don't live in Sun City. But let me see what Wanea was saying. Now, California, I think I have a video too. Here, hold on for a second. This was crazy. I just saw this today. I don't know if you guys caught this. It was a guy on a motorcycle. Now, in California, one of the things that motorcyclists can do is you can split lanes. Now, as a motorcyclist myself, I don't do that. I don't care even if I'm in a state where I can split lanes, I ain't doing it. I am not doing that. No, sir. Let me see if I can find it. Anyway, there was a video of a guy splitting lanes. Dude was going so fast. And of course, he caught one. He got like 20 something fractures. It was crazy. Hold on. Let me just see. I know I can find this. Let me just do a search for this and we'll leave off on this. All right. Let me see if I can find it. But yeah, but see, it's one thing when you're splitting lanes, but see, it's another thing when you're splitting lanes and you're going like 60, 70 miles an hour. That's, you just asking for something, man. I'm looking now. Hold on. Let me just see. Yeah, I don't do that. And watch, I'll find it after we get off the live here. Let me just see. Nah, I can't find it. Anyway, dude was going like fast, and next thing you know, that thing, he caught one, man. It was just, he survived, but no, you don't want to do that. Now out here in Arizona, I've seen people. When you, I've seen people in Arizona, and they do this out Arizona. I've seen this, Florida. I haven't been in California in a minute, so I can't speak for California. But, for my motorcycle family out there, you got to understand, it's important for you to make sure that you got your pads on, you got long pants on, whatever. Because if your bike falls, that's an automatic skin graft. I mean, you literally will skin your stuff. I mean, your skin will just fall right off. It's nasty. Anybody that's experienced that. Thankfully, that hasn't been me. But yeah, it's some nasty stuff. I've seen pictures of it. That's an automatic skin graft. But anyway, so you at least wear some jeans or you wear some pads or something like, a jacket that's got some pads in it or whatever. Just to protect yourself. So if you do fall, right. But anyway, what you shouldn't do is be on a motorcycle with flip flops, with shorts on and a tank top and no helmet. That's the kind of stuff you see sometime out here in Arizona. I'm like, these people are crazy. And it'll be on the big joints, the big retirement level, people who done hit retirement, they got them big chunky motorcycles. I said, I can never do that. I'll do a cruiser bike. And I'll do a speed bike, I'll do that. But I'm not doing the big fat ones. I'm not going out like that. No, I ain't going out like that. Nope. I just won't ride the motorcycle then. I just won't ride it. You ain't gonna see my behind on them big fat ones. No, I can't do that. Cause that's showing all your age there. Not that being old is a bad thing. I'm just saying that's just and I'm blasting Stevie Wonder or something like that. And it's like, bro, you don't look cool. You may think you look cool. No, that's just I can't do it. But anyway, yeah, I've seen that like in Florida, and then I also seen it out here. People wearing like the bare minimum, flying on motorcycles. That's crazy. I don't do that. So anyway, right now I used to have my bike, and then I gave it to my son, and now he's got his own bike. But eventually, I'll probably get another one. I'll jump on his every now and then, but eventually, in Arizona, one thing I do like is they're big on ATVs out here. That's what I'm wanting to do, ATVing. I'm wanting to do that. So y'all gonna catch us on some video doing some ATVing. I even have to rent one. So anyway, I think that's it, family. We're gonna call it the night. It's been so great being with you this evening and just having a little conversation here. And remember, if you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to email us at connect@journeymanandwoman.com. Again, it's connect@journeymanandwoman.com. And we're here for you. And big shout out to our callers tonight. We really appreciate you guys calling in. And I know for some people that's a little challenging, because you like being in your little private space, but it's fine. It's okay. I get that. We respect that. Sharon said, Big Harley Davidson. I can't do it. I can't do it, sis. I can't do it. I can't do it. I cannot do it. Then they can have it. I can't do it. I'll get it. Like I said again, I'll get a sports bike. I'll do that because that's what my son has. I'll ride that. But when I'm riding that, I'm not like flying. I don't do that. I don't ride crazy. A cruiser bike I'll do. But I can't. I can't. No, ma'am. No, sir. Anyway, that's it, family. Talk about motorcycles tonight. Anyway, listen, you guys take care. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And we'll be talking again really, really soon. Love you guys very much. Love you enough to tell the truth. You guys take care. See you next time.